question is, I hear in some of your lectures all the time about coming to the spiritual platform.
Okay. All right. Hold it
And
right. Okay.
for
Shoot.
me, that's a categorical imperative. I would like for you to explain to me as best you can, what do you mean when you say come to the spiritual platform?
Good. Yeah, when we say come to the spiritual platform, we mean see yourself looking out through the body. Not the body looking, but looking out through the body. Come right up here and we say looking out through the third eye. Like you see yourself as the one looking out through these external eyes, these so-called eyeballs in the front of the head. But actually, if you look, you'll see that the self is the one looking out. And so that self can be seen from inside, but it can't be seen from outside. It's more or less invisible to the naked eyes. So we are the one looking out. So we say, come and start seeing yourself as spirit, as the one looking out. This is seeing yourself as spirit. And as we see the self looking out, we see that the self has no material designation. There's no creed, no color, no race, no kind of designation. It's just looking out, like the sky. You're seeing yourself as you see the sky looking out. You're looking out through the sky, as the sky, beyond the sky. You see, so we're seeing the self as spirit, and this is coming to the spiritual platform. We're changing the way we see the self, because in the material concept of life, we're seeing the self as a material being. So we relate to some particular nationality, some particular creed, some particular color, some particular religion, some particular race, or even species of life. But that same being that's looking out through this body is looking out through other bodies too. And that supreme presence is looking out through everybody. And that is what some folks call supreme being of God, and we refer to as divine presence. So we come to the spiritual platform, and we say this divine presence, this ultimate presence, is supreme spirit. It's supreme spirit. So we worship as spirit, in truth, meaning that which is always here. Truth is that which lasts, that which endures, that which never ceases existing. And the only presence that we see that's always here is this present moment. This moment right here, so-called moment, which is actually beyond space and time. It is always here. So we come to the spiritual platform, see the self as spirit or presence, looking out through the body. Our goal being union or reunion, reawakening to our more or less forgotten relationship with divine presence, this ultimate presence, this ultimate spirit, this greatest spirit, which we'll refer to as divine presence.
So my understanding is, before we can enter the spiritual platform, we must see ourselves for who we really are, as means of qualification to enter the spiritual platform is the realization that we are spirit.
Yes, sir. We call it the platform, but it's just coming over, just seeing the self differently. And when we change the way we look at the self, we change the way we look at the world and those who inhabit the world. And when we change the way we look at the world and those who inhabit the world, because we see in spirit now. And when we change the way we look at the world we look at changes. But we have to change the way we look at ourselves first. So if we want to speak with one voice with others, then we come to the spiritual platform. And we see as spirit, we have infinitely more in common than we have in difference. And so if we want to unite, come over to the spiritual platform. That means see yourself as spirit. Change the way we look at the self. Instead of looking at the self as a spiritual form, we look at the self as the infinite, formless spirit, which is beyond, it's so subtle that it's beyond form and formlessness. It's beyond image and imagelessness. Beyond all forms, all personality. It's within and beyond everything, because it's more subtle than the ether. And you know the ether is more subtle than the air. But it's the finest of the finest, the smallest of the smallest. This is why Some of the ancients would say, when you come before a supreme being, the judgment seat, we have to be so clean, so pure, that our very being is lighter than a feather, the ostrich feather. But we can see that the self, when it's purified, when it's cleansed of all those misgivings, all of that lust and anger and greed, etc., it's lighter than the dow of a baby ostrich. It's lighter than the feather from the, what's the name of that flower on there?
Dandelion.
Yes. So it is so clean that we're so light. And that means not just weight-wise, not just illumination, but beyond even that, because it's beyond all dualities. It's more subtle than the subtlest, lighter than the lightest. And this is the nature of the self, smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest at the same time. Therefore, we say that our supreme being is not just great, it's the greatest. It's beyond compare. There's no comparison for it. There's no parallel to it. It's one and one alone. It's supreme by itself.
Thank you for answering my question, Brother Peace. And I'm going to chew on it like a cow chews on the cud a little bit. And my four stomachs of my four yogas.
Okay.
So I just want to thank you and Brother Dharmadas again for this enlightening segment. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we'll continue to practice. The practice must be here. It's one thing to have an intellectual grasp of this, and some of us can articulate from the intellectual platform, but we come from knowledge, observation, experience, and reflection. It's not enough to just have an intellectual grasp of this, or we're able to talk about it, but to really have practice. So our business, our determination is to speak from our experience, not just for what we read in a book, not for what we just heard, but come from knowledge. That means including all the research you've done about the self and God and how do we get to God and why are we here, etc. But what we've observed too, and above all that, is how much have we experienced of what we're talking about. And then when we look back and reflect on it, we can see that it holds true, no matter how many ways we look at it. We say not just as above and below, but when we talk about divine presence, it is omnipresent. That means not just above and below, but inside and out, up and down, right and left, from all perspectives, it holds true. And no matter how much we try and dissect it and critically analyze it, it stands strong. It gets clearer and clearer and clearer. And this is a qualification for truth. Is the more we look at it, the more it stands clearer and clearer and clearer and makes good sense. It stands to reason and common sense. And this is where we're coming from. It can be backed up by the scriptures, but we should speak from our experience. Knowledge, observation, experience, and reflection.
I agree with you, Brother Peace.
Okay. Any other comments or questions or clarifications needed at this time?
No, sir. No, sir. I want to really fully digest the message you've given me.
Okay. All right. We appreciate your sangha, brother. We appreciate you very much. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being here at this time and sharing your knowledge, your understanding with all of us.